When was the last time you gasped at our scenery, gotten lost in the depth of our reefs, or even awed at the green of the leaves of our trees? Don't hesitate to donate and volunteer. Don't hesitate to care. We are here for you. The Bahamas National Trust, BNT. 3 letters that spell out simply, perfectly, and undoubtedly that we are yours.
Coming up in the news, the Minister of Foreign Affairs discussing the likelihood of a U.S. pre-clearance section return to Grand Bahama. Also, the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture outlining the way forward for the greatest show on Earth. And a female now at the helm of the largest privately owned airline in the Bahamas. We have the details. The Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight with a boost in tourism numbers and additional airlift to Grand Bahama. The hope for many is to see the return of U.S. pre-clearance, which was shut down after Category 5 Hurricane Dorian ravaged the Grand Bahama International Airport. Well, tonight, the Minister of Foreign Affairs remains optimistic about its comeback alongside the completion of a world-class airport, despite the U.S. stance that U.S. pre-clearance may not return to the island anytime soon. We have the details in tonight's top story.
The Americans have said it's not coming back, no matter what you do.
It is a once-present luxury in Grand Bahama the air travelers long for to return. The U.S. pre-clearance section at the Grand Bahama International Airport. This section, a fixture for decades, met an unfortunate halt after Hurricane Dorian severely impacted the island's airport. Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, shares that the government remains optimistic regarding its return.
We take the position that once the airport facility is properly built and constructed, we will be lobbying to get it returned. In our lexicon, never is a word we don't use.
U.S. officials outlined various reasons why the return of CBP pre-clearance to Grand Bahama may not be imminent. Budgetary constraints, economic considerations, and low travel numbers were among the key factors. The Foreign Affairs Minister asserts that such circumstances could have been avoided.
There was a dereliction in duty in not fixing the existing terminal that was flooded out. Just put it back to where it was. And the U.S. would have been here. They expected to have been out for about 2 years. They would have brought the people back in within 2 years. With our failure to do that, and I put this down to Minnis and his administration again, the fact is that we lost the budget allocation, which was in the U.S. budget for this, and so we are where we are.
And with plans underway to rebuild a world-class airport on the island by 2025, the Honorable Fred Mitchell expressed hope in restoring the pre-clearance service.
We'll be working as soon as we can get this airport issue up and going and fixed to make sure the pre-clearance comes back, but, you know, they've told us that they think it's unlikely, but, you know, as I say, you never say never.
Tonight, the Minister of Foreign Affairs is also countering the opposition leader's criticism regarding the government's perceived delay in implementing a Freedom of Information Act. Minister Fred Mitchell emphasizes that the government is addressing other pressing matters that demand immediate focus and attention.
We opposed this Freedom of Information Act idea. The FNM has this view. They've passed something called Fiscal Responsibility Act, the Procurement Act, Freedom of Information Act. All of these things really have nothing to do with people's ordinary lives. I mean, this is just a bunch of public relations, you know, accounting procedures, and confusing activity with action.
He assures the public that there are no qualms about information disclosure within the country, and the government remains dedicated to addressing issues directly impacting Bahamians' everyday lives.
The issue right now is high prices. What are we going to do about the high prices in the country? That's an issue. The issue is how are we going to stop these young men from killing one another every day? I mean, that's an issue. Freedom of information, I don't think so. You know, that's basically my view about this. And it's bureaucratic, expensive to execute, and I'm not sure you get any results from it that people can actually see and feel. So that's, you know, you're talking about a philosophical difference here between us and them on so many issues.
In other news, a local bank facing customer opposition as the implementation of new charges for some in-person services is met with discontent. These customers expressing their concerns with these fees, deeming them burdensome on the Bahamian people. Raven Davis reports.
In the wake of the new year, Fidelity Bank introducing changes in the form of new charges for certain in-person services effective January 1, 2024. According to the bank, the decision follows a detailed assessment of associated costs with fees being adjusted to reflect these expenses. However, not everyone is embracing the change, as businessman Romal Russell voices his concerns.
You work in the bank, and the day that the fee takes effect is the day that you find out that the fee is coming. Also, I think the fee is a nonsense fee. Honestly, I don't have an issue with the fee itself. I have an issue with the fact that I don't think the bank provides the services or the products that allows them to charge a fee for coming in the bank.
And he says despite it being a nominal fee pegged at around $2 and change, he's not prepared to pay, even voicing his concerns directly with management.
And I think the best response I got was that they were the last bank to do it and they were the cheapest. But that doesn't pacify me.
Now, Russell says the main question here is who regulates the fees that banks charge, and are they able to just add new fees without providing the necessary services?
First and foremost, your online platform is not the most user-friendly. Your ATMs do not provide automatic credit. So I bank with other banks, and they have similar fees. And I don't have an issue with those banks charging that fee because they have the products or the services that are convenient.
Other residents also adding their voices to the ongoing debate, saying new charges are too much for financially struggling Bahamians.
Today, really, Bahamians are being burdened with, an exorbitant amount of charges for simple things that we think should be given to us free. And I think it's time for those who lead us, our country, our leaders, to step up and challenge these things.
How can you go up before notifying your customers? And the lady said that came from management, and I don't agree with it because we're struggling now. We're trying to barely hold on to the porch and the outdoor.
Some persons just can't afford that $1 or $2. Every dollar counts, and you need it.
Bullitt says in the absence of a resolution, he's prepared to explore alternative measures.
I bank, use other establishments, and this is the first time being faced with this, and I am really disappointed in that. And I think as a result of this, I would give serious consideration of withdrawing my funds from here and just putting them elsewhere. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
While addressing concerns about the preparation time given to customers, the CEO acknowledges that criticism is inevitable, but emphasizes the importance of introducing changes where there is more cost-effective alternative.
When you think about the persons who are working behind the teller counters or cashiers and tellers, ultimately they're providing a personal service as well, and there's a cost. There are payroll costs, there are attendant benefits, and then the overhead of maintaining that space. And so, consistent with, I would say, virtually every financial institution, not only in the Bahamas, but internationally, where there are more cost-effective solutions like online banking, like the ATM machine, where you don't have to incur the payroll costs, the overhead costs, there are fees being introduced. to effectively compensate for coming into physical locations and having that personalized service.
Additionally, the CEO of Fidelity Bank in the Bahamas, Gowan Bo, is shedding light on the rationale behind the new charges for some in-person services. The CEO underscores that this measure is not intended to extract funds, but rather to sustain the quality of services provided. He says this fee specifically applies to services that can be efficiently conducted through alternative means, aligning with the industry practice of charging for professional services rendered.
So from that perspective, really, it is more, I'm going to say, a change in what their preference may wish to be than it is an imposed charge where they have no alternative or no other option. And so from that perspective, it is not one that I'm going to say is without sufficient or appropriate notice. All of the actual terms and conditions that we sign on to as individuals with our financial institutions indicate that fees can be changed from time to time following, revisions by the banking institution.
Well, in the airline industry, Western Air has announced the appointment of Shirexia Rexy Roll as its new president, CEO, and accountable manager effective January 1st, 2024. Roll becomes one of the few women in the aviation industry to hold such a prominent leadership position, joining a mere 8% of women airline CEOs. Our Aja Quant sat with the new CEO and filed this report.
For me, the work continues, but just in a different capacity.
Over 15 years of extensive experience in the airline sector, Shirexia Rexy Roll is now named president, CEO, and accountable manager of Western Air, effective January 1st, 2024, now joining the select 8% of women leading airlines as CEOs. Roll expressing her readiness to assume the role she has been preparing for and acknowledges Western Air's progress while emphasizing its untapped potential.
At Western Air, we really are committed to the service that we provide to our passengers. And so for me, this is going to be just about focusing and fine-tuning the services that we provide and really pushing to enhance the Western Air experience.
Established in September 2000 by her parents, Western Air stands as the Bahamas' largest privately owned airline. Roll previously served as the vice president of operations and general counsel for over 9 years. Her tenure saw remarkable transformations within the company, to which she says will continue offering flexible services.
For most people, life can be very unpredictable, and so that's why we have the most flexible ticket policies in the region. On Western Air, there's never any cancellation fees or change fees, because we want passengers to have the flexibility and the frequency to travel. So we're going to build on that by creating even more flexible options down the road.
She reassures that despite her new responsibilities, her vibrant personality would remain unchanged.
I think it's just a testament of the times and the fact that you can be multiple things. And so for me, music and dance and fashion is a part of my personality, and I don't expect that to change. I don't like the stuffy or the bougie. You could still come up to me and talk, and we'll talk for a long time, and that's how I intend to stay, and I don't expect anything to change personality-wise.
The new CEO also conveying a heartfelt message to the Western Air team and passengers.
My Western Air team, I would be nothing without them. That's just that. They are committed and dedicated, and we have a team of 234 employees, and every single one of them makes this show go around. And so I never take them for granted, and I recognize how important they are. And to our passengers, I am eternally grateful to be able to serve them. And it's just my, why do I feel teary? It's just my passion to do what we do.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Aja Quant.
Well, meanwhile, over in Abaco, police on that northern island are investigating an armed robbery that reportedly occurred on Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024 at a residence in Marsh Harbor. Preliminary reports indicate that it was around 8:15 p.m. when two adult male family members were outside their residence when they were confronted by two males allegedly armed with handguns. The culprits reportedly forced the victims into their home, where they restrained them along with 2 other family members and stole an undisclosed amount of cash and personal items before escaping in a northwestern direction. Anyone with additional information about this robbery is asked to please contact 911, 919, or the Criminal Investigations Department in Abaco. Persons with anonymous tips can contact Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS or 328-8477. Meanwhile, police on Abaco have intensified the search for 33-year-old Ronell Highfooty, a.k.a. Ronell Jane of Murphytown, Abaco. They want to question him in connection with armed robbery. The Abaco resident stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, slim-built, dark brown complexion. Anyone spotting him is asked to contact the Marsh Harbor Police Station at 367-2900 and 367-2650, CID New Providence at 502-9991, or CID Grand Bahama at 502-3106, or download the P3 Tips app. You can also dial 911 at National Crime Prevention Office at 302-8430 or 1 Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS or 8476. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Stay with us. There's more news when we come back.
You asked for it, you've got it. A new plant nursery fully loaded with everything you need and extended hours. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Unwind every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Prop Club at the Grand Lucayan Hotel. Enjoy tasty food specials on draft beers and house specialty pizzas. The Prop Club, the best place to meet friends and enjoy happy hour. Come and see the cabinets and countertops in stock now at Specialty Kitchen and Bath, number 16 Oak Street. Phone them at 688-9661. List your home in Grand Bahama with H.G. Christie. Visit their new office in the Port Lucaya Marketplace. H.G. Christie, celebrating over 100 years of service.
With over 30 years of service with integrity, services in Abaco, New Providence, and Grand Bahama, providing modern and state-of-the-art equipment, specializing in the maintenance and operation of waste treatment plants, waste oil movement, sludge extraction, tank cleaning, elite portable toilets, and hand wash stations. We are efficient, reliable, and cutting edge. We are B&B Galaxy.
BAF Financial is a global group of companies established since 1920. We offer a variety of products and services, inclusive of life insurance, medical insurance, annuity plan, final expense plan, and college education. We also have the BAF General, which offers homeowners insurance, motor insurance, rental insurance, liability insurance, and for those in Freeport, we have the bond insurance. And then we have Cash and Go. It's our one-stop shop here in Freeport, where you can pay bills and do money transfer systems. And you can also download the Cash and Go app. This is where you can pay your bills from the comfort of your home. We're located downtown in the Region Center, just across from the post office. You can contact us at 352-7209 or 351-1878. We're open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Officials announced early on that the curve of the property
and Q.
At a fire had erupted in Atlanta.
All of the victims have lost their lives.
Your number one news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Well, the 2024 New Year's Day Junkanoo Parade is officially in the books. The Platinum Knights were named the winners in the Category A division. We spoke to the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture on the way forward for Junkanoo. Shane Stubbs has that report.
Senior Junkanoo parades are officially in the history books. The Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Bolek, said after viewing both parades, he sees a number of ways for the beloved cultural expression to be preserved and elevated in the country. One way is by introducing a Junkanoo segment during the Bahamas Games, which was recently reintroduced. The minister adding that it was an idea that was flirted with ahead of the 2023 edition of those games. It's something that is still up for discussion for 2026.
We can continue working on and get the funding to pull that off, where Grand Bahama can be represented by Grand Bahama Junkanoo groups all in one. One group can represent New Providence, one can represent Exuma, Cat Island, and the rest alike. I know what it takes and what the performance levels they are. And so I could tell you, Friday, next Saturday coming, will be Exuma, the next one, and that is off the chain.
It's a costly adventure for groups aiming to bring the best performance to any boulevard. Bolek stresses the importance of preserving these timeless pieces versus being discarded once the parade is completed.
We believe that the Junkanooers can profit and benefit financially from these costumes because they can place it, like you say, in Iran or different corporate areas where it can be displayed and they can go in and tune it up and make sure it stay looking sharp and even give them a few dollars just to have it there, right? And to be there.
And what better way to display history than with the Junkanoo Museum?
The Junkanoo Museum is something that must come not only on New Providence but definitely on Grand Bahama.
Yes, sir.
And so that we can have these pieces of the various groups displayed all year round. We want tourists to be able to come in and pay to see these huge pieces and beautiful pieces, but also make sure that the museum itself doesn't benefit, but those who build them also get some profit out of it.
Impressed by what he saw during the 2024 parade here in Freeport, he hopes one day to give local groups some shine on Bay Street, which would breathe some new life to the product and give groups a different experience.
These groups continue to improve themselves, and I'm looking forward to the day that we can have one or two of them come down on Boxing Day and perform, and then come back to Grand Bahama and perform on New Year's. By doing so, we want the New Providence, the Grand Bahamians to also go to the Family Islands and make sure that they help their little brothers and sisters islands because we want to be able to see the same level of Junkanoo throughout the land and breadth of commerce wherever we go.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
And that's a look at stories making news. Here's a check on sports with our J. Philippe.
I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to yet another exciting edition of sports right here in the North. Boxing is on the rise on Grand Bahama, but let's begin with an update from a number of our college basketball players in the U.S. A number of Grand Bahamian athletes gearing up for the second half of the college basketball season. 6'7" forward Ramad Dane, playing at Fordham University at the Division I level, scored 6 points last night in their 119-113 win over George Washington University. Shooting guard Joshua Dames, playing at Notre Dame, will be in action next week, where his team will go up against West Virginia State in conference play. Over in Alabama, 6'4" forward Rolante Knowles and his Spring Hill College Badgers is scheduled to take on Benedict College tonight in the SEAC Conference. So far on the year, Knowles is averaging 5.3 points per game. Franklin Pettion, in his bounce-back year at William Baptist University, is averaging 12.7 points per game in his junior year. So far on the season, the Eagles have a 8-2 record heading into conference play. Also, 6'6" forward Paul Green, playing at Southern New Hampshire University, scored 7 points last night in a 84-81 loss to Adelphia University on the road. And Franco Miller Jr. and his FGC Eagles, coming off a major win against Florida Atlantic University on the weekend, will also be in action tonight against Jacksonville University. Switching gears now in sports, All Out Boxing Club held a Boxing Day Jamboree last week on Boxing Day. Here's event organizer Jermaine Gibson.
The object is to get as much experience under the belt of these young fighters. The more experience they get, the better they are, especially when they're traveling worldwide. So that was one of the main objectives. And the response from the people was really great. We had chairs up on the stage. People came in and they loved it. But we had some of the new kids who've never had an opportunity to go in the ring yet, and they loved it so much. They are inspired, and they can't wait to come in the gym to work out. They're like, that was the best day of their life.
And that's a quick check on sports, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe. As always, be blessed.
It's begin to feel a lot like Christmas. Woo!
It's only October.
Christmas isn't as far as you think. If you start your layaway now, you'll get it right on time.
Make layaway work for you. 50% down on furniture and bedding. Any amount down on mattresses. 6 weeks to pay it off. No interest. Pay whatever you want, whenever you want.
Don't get caught on Christmas Day. Come to Island Bedding and lay it away.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited.
Maintaining strong relationships with superior customer service. Fulfilling all your insurance needs through commercial, property and casualty, marine and aviation, homeowners and contents, automotive for private and commercial, life insurance, medical, and pension investments. Being the best at who we are in Freeport since 1980.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited.
A name you've come to know and trust.
We've always been there for you.
So call us today at 350-3500 or visit our office on Pioneers Way.
Insurance Management Bahamas Limited. Honestly,
nobody does it better.
If you're tired of looking the same, yeah, you ain't got to complain, no. You know where to go and you know what to do. You can find it here. You got the best in men's world. Come on, let our friendly stuff help you. Hey, come on and shop. See what a squire man's got. Yeah, we got it all for you.
In Grand Bahama, our lamp just got brighter. Introducing Lamp Ultimate. From unlimited urgent care visits.
So we're just going to give you some oxygen.
To unlimited primary care visits.
How can we help today?
From unlimited x-rays to unlimited ultrasounds.
My baby!
And spend no more than $40 on non-specialty medication. Lamp Ultimate is the affordable healthcare plan that you've been dreaming of. And it's only available at Doctors Hospital in Grand Bahama.
When a storm strikes and knocks out power to your home, you may be forced to use a backup energy source such as solar panels or a generator. But do you know about the potential dangers and how to safely use backup energy sources? There's one major risk. It's called backfeed, and it can endanger you, a family member, or someone else, especially a lineman or electrician working at or near your property. Backfeed occurs when power travels from your solar setup or generator back through the utility lines, resulting in them being unknowingly re-energized. Backfeed creates a very dangerous and potentially deadly situation for line workers and the public. To prevent backfeed, generators, whether permanent or portable, should never be plugged into a home's wiring or directly to the circuit breaker panel. The best way to avoid backfeed is by installing a transfer switch. Preventing backfeed could save a life.
Hey there, I'm D'Amico Nesbitt, and welcome to Health Bites, where each and every week we give you a helpful tip to help you on your health and fitness journey. We're here at the Fitness Connection in the Raven Mall, and today I want to answer a question that I get a lot. Which protein is the best protein, or what's the right protein for me? Now, protein, everybody needs protein. It's a macronutrient, and it's responsible for growth and repair of cells. All cells, but a lot of people supplement it for your muscle cells. So I'm going to help you be able to choose the right one for you. Now, if you're looking to put on weight, protein, one thing to know, protein is not a weight gainer. It's a nutrient. It's going to help you to rebuild that muscle, but it's not a weight gainer. People often confuse weight gainer shakes with protein shakes. They're totally different. So make sure that if you don't want to gain weight, you pick a protein shake instead. Now, if you want to go for more of that ripped look, you want to make sure you get a lean protein. I recommend the isolates. They have a lot of carbs and fats filtered, almost zero to no carbs or fats, and just the protein, so it's going to be able to help you feeling more full You're going to be able to absorb more of that protein and less of the other stuff that you don't need as much of. Another type of protein, if you know, we have vegans, people who don't consume any milk, dairy, or meat products, and whey protein is a milk product. So we also have vegan proteins like behind me, where they come from plant-based sources, and they can also help those people to supplement protein into their daily diet to be able to train harder, rebuild muscle, and just keep their body functioning at optimum levels. There are also some protein shakes that can be made as a meal replacement. If you're going to substitute 1 or 2 of your meals daily to help lower your calorie intake, you can take a meal replacement shake to get the protein and the other nutrients. Remember, we have all these supplements available at the Fitness Connection. We're here in the Raven Mall. We're also in Nassau, both in the east and west. You can find us on Google. Come check us out.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Laurel Bartlett, our former colleague here in the North, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We also wish you a happy birthday, and we say thank you for your support. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team here in the North, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, residents react to the spate of murders. Atlanta's taxi woes, Majority Rule Day reflections, and in sports, excitement building for the World Relays. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks so much for tuning in. 2023 ended in death, and the country rang in the new year with yet another murder. What has seemed to be a recent trend, a death every day, has been causing public concern. While many see the issue as one for police to address, an assistant commissioner of police is saying it's not that simple. Here's Cleopatra Murphy.
The public are the police, and the police are the public.
4 days into the new year, and within 3 of them, 4 bodies have made their way to the morgue in what has already been a bloody start to 2024. The country closed 2023 with 110 murders, and although down 8% from the previous year, the frequency of the incidents have been a growing cause of concern. It's a concern police are well aware of, and while law enforcement is doing their part to address the problem, Assistant Commissioner of Police Chaswell Hanna says it has to be a joint effort.
There are more members of the public there than there are police officers. Okay, so there's no way we could be successful at what we do without the support of the public. And I can say that the public has been very supportive through urban renewal and any number of programs. But we want that support to continue and to be strengthened, particularly in these times. So there's information on crimes, information of contraband, drugs, weapons. We want the members of the public to feel comfortable coming to us. In fact, in all of our communities, everybody has a relative on the force or has a friend on the force. So if you feel more comfortable speaking with them, do just that. We need the information. We all also want to work together to keep our Bahamas safe.
Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, has often discussed the role of parents in the crime fight, as it is their children who grow into criminal menaces. Hannah, too, believes parents are instrumental in determining the direction of their children's lives.
The role of raising a child is non-transferable. From time to time, we see parents coming to school and in our police stations. They really don't want nothing to do with their kids. They want the police to raise their kids, for lack of a better word. While we support these parents and offer assistance where we can, we want parents to understand it's your responsibility. We're going to assist where we could. In the schools, we're going to assist where we could, but we want parents to understand that they have a very, very important responsibility.
Hannah insists children are very impressionable, adding that from the police's end, there are a number of diversion programs like the Second Chance program, while the Urban Renewal program is being strengthened. Aside from that, he says police presence is constantly being addressed, anticipating a new batch of recruits in the near future.
We're going through the critical stages of the recruitment process, so very soon they'll be coming out, and as you know, police officers, attrition through retirement and otherwise is something that goes on. So recruitment is something that has to be continuous and ongoing.
Hannah adds that when it comes to the crime fight, the difference between police and the wider public is officers wear uniforms and are armed. While he says Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernando will address crime concerns in his Meet the Press, he insists in the quest for a safer Bahamas, all hands must be on deck.
We cannot do this alone. This is policing by consent. There are more members of the public there than there are police officers.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Cleo, where we're learning the identity of the woman gunned down Wednesday morning while waiting in a gray Nissan Cube at the traffic light on busy Prince Charles Drive near Commonwealth Bank. She is 27-year-old Shatir Wells. Wells was gunned down along with 30-year-old Dino Smith, a man known to police whose birthday was on the same day. Police say the Quaco Street father was a suspect in the $1 million robbery of an armored truck at the Lyndon Pendling International Airport and was later the target in an attempted murder last year. And just how to tackle the issue of crime, a question even the experts at times grapple with. And following a recent string of crimes, some residents are adding their voice to the conversation. Here's Antoinette Smith.
A murder marred January, only 4 days into the year. The recent spate of killings sending shockwaves throughout the community.
It's senseless what they are doing. It's real senseless.
In the wee hours of January 1st, a 51-year-old man met his tragic end after he was allegedly stabbed by his son. On January 2nd, the country recorded its second homicide when a 31-year-old South Beach man was gunned down on his doorstep. And on Wednesday, January 3rd, the country recorded a double homicide, a woman and a man whose car was sprayed by bullets as they traveled along a busy Prince Charles Drive.
Yes, that's very concerning. Sometimes I take that route also. And it could have been me as a passenger in a different car because these guys are shooting. They're not marksmen. Those bullets can fly and go anywhere.
The brazen broad daylight incident prompting strong responses from residents, many who expressed fear and anger, others simply racked with concern.
With the young generation, they're not even respecting the officers, so it's so sad.
Their solution to this seemingly never-ending problem multifaceted. Some residents expressing their thoughts on harsher penalties and revising the laws, others arguing that it's an issue that may require stakeholders to dig deeper.
If you have more discipline in the home, more fathers in the home, we might could stand a chance in our society today.
We have to realize that there's a certain level of lawlessness that we need to address, and there's a certain level of disconnect within communities that we need to address. Again, crime is an expression of things that may be going wrong in our society, and we need to look at those other areas where things are happening.
Back on January 2nd, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis noted that the rate of crime is not falling fast enough. Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernando on New Year's Day promised a more aggressive strategy from the police force. As for the residents we spoke to today, well, they believe the crime fight will require a community effort.
Sometimes many individuals don't see or understand the challenge of crime until it has already happened. But if some of them know the true impact on it, that may deter them from getting involved. And so by partnering with civic organizations and other individuals to create community-based programs, that's one step towards crime.
As of Thursday, January 4th, the murder count stands at 4. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Antoinette Smith.
The head of Families of All Murdered also weighing in on the bloodshed wreaking havoc on our streets so early on into the new year. She believes it will take a community effort to fight the war on crime.
Bullets has no eyes. Bullets only has casualty.
A strong statement from President of Families of All Murdered Victims, Candy Gibson, who is speaking out on 4 lives snuffed out so early into 2024. Gibson says yesterday's slayings of 30-year-old Dino Smith and his 27-year-old female friend on busy Prince Charles Drive is an indication that suspects will pull the trigger on anyone to get to their intended target.
If you're in the vicinity or the area, or even a driver or even a person in the same home, when they come for the intended target, which in my opinion shouldn't be the intended target, because no one has the right to kill anybody. But if you are there when they open fire, whatever casualty is, it could be you and your innocent bystander. And people are always talking about, he was known to the police, or that's a political offender, or they were out on bail. I don't look at someone past. I don't look at what they're alleged to be. I look at the trauma and the grief and the brokenheartedness it brings to families, mainly the children, because we have a lot of children now growing up, never ever get a chance to meet their fathers.
Over the years, Gibson says she's noticed a trend of double murders happening on our streets, and the only ones left to carry the burden and suffer lifelong effects are the children and their families.
In 2013, there would have been an immigration officer and his girlfriend. 2014, I think it was a guy named Fred and his girlfriend. And then it was in 2015, it was a husband and wife in Freeport. In 2018, it was the gentleman and his girlfriend going to Silence to get his therapy. He had gotten shot before he went for therapy. In 2023, it was the Andrew guy and his girlfriend. That was in 2023 in Monte Heights, and now this year is the gentleman and the lady, and it's just sad. It's just sad. Like it's so sad that persons now, they don't have the respect for women, they don't have the respect for children. And look at the bystanders' cars who had gotten shot.
Gibson says once someone's life has been threatened, they should flee the country and disconnect themselves from anything that's easily accessible to the suspects.
When your families get you out the country or off the island, don't carry your criminality or what you was known as in Nassau to different places. You're going to low profile. You don't need no Facebook. You need no WhatsApp. You don't need no social media. You understand me? He who runs away, live to see another day. You have nothing to prove to nobody. Just leave.
Gibson says she plans to meet with the families of murdered victims killed over the last 3 days later this week.
Former cryptocurrency billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried has been spared a second trial on a laundry list of charges. According to international reports, United States prosecutors indicated in a letter filed in a Manhattan court that strong public interest in the speedy resolution of their case outweighed the benefits of a second trial. Further, that much of the evidence that could be offered at the second trial was already represented at the first trial. 31-year-old Bankman-Fried had faced 6 additional charges that had been severed from his first trial, including campaign finance violations, conspiracy to commit bribery, and conspiracy to operate an unlicensed money transmitting business. He was convicted last November of 7 fraud and conspiracy charges in connection with stealing $8 billion from FTX customers. Meantime, he is expected to be sentenced on March 28th this year and is facing decades behind bars. However, it is anticipated that he will appeal his conviction. And still to come, taxi drivers' dispute with Atlantis continues. Plus, our feature story of the night, enhancing the dining experience for visitors. All of that after our final weather outlook. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
There are some things that are undeniably Bahamian. A good count salad, Junkanoo, the way we worship, the way we take care of one another, all undeniably Bahamian. And right in the midst of our iconic things, places, and people is Commonwealth Bank. Increasing access, sponsoring dreams, working alongside Bahamians to increase the quality of their lives for more than 60 years. Commonwealth Bank, nothing more than being Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
The new KFC nuggets have arrived. That unlike the no-gets, ours are handmade using 100% white meat. Unlike the no-gets, at KFC, we hand bread every day to achieve the perfect flavor. After you try our delicious and crispy nuggets in the original recipe, you'll never settle for less. KFC, the real nuggets. It's finger-licking good.
Trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
We build the gym. You build the body.
Chief Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, continuing his global appeal for greater action towards the climate change fight. During an interview on the American-based global business cable network CNBC, the Prime Minister said the Bahamas' future is at risk if steps are not taken to reverse the global climate crisis.
I can see my people becoming climate refugees or being doomed to watery grave. Because if nothing happens, that is our future. So I'm passionate about it. Others may not see it that way. And so the time has come for us to find a mechanism where political attitudes, political change will not reverse or retard progress on this front.
While acknowledging the commitment made at COP28 towards the Loss and Damage Fund, Prime Minister Davis questioned the audacity or the adequacy of resources towards the climate fight.
We now see a firm engagement to fund what I call it, the Loss and Damage Fund. We see that commitment, but at COP, what was pledged, about $429 million, I think that was a total. What is needed? About $400 billion each year. So you can see the disparity there.
Sweeping new intellectual and copyright legislation, which the Davis administration boasts is transformative, expected to be brought to Parliament earlier this year. It's a boost for creatives, others in the orange economy, and it greatly expands protections on equity. We're now entering the conciliation part of the process, and tonight, Corval Pyfrom has feedback from a leading IP practitioner on the new laws.
Intellectual property attorney Roger Ouden welcomes the suite of new copyright and intellectual property legislation, which the Davis administration touts gives greater protection to creatives. However, Ouden concedes that while it's a step in the right direction, it doesn't go quite far enough.
We're really excited to deal with these new legislative proposals and look and see how best we can actually continue to cover and adequately protect our Bahamian creatives.
The new legislation is expected to be rolled out in early spring. Leading up to that, the government expects to engage in public consultations with stakeholders. Ouden says it's vital creatives especially get their views heard. After all, it is they who will likely be most impacted by this new legislation.
I would encourage all Bahamian creatives, irrespective of your medium of choice, to really think about where you would like to go in terms of being able to produce your work, protect your work. Start having that conversation if you haven't had it already.
The proposed legislation comes as artificial intelligence is quickly expanding, with many concerned about what, if any, protections there are and the roles of and relationship between AI and IP.
It's one of these things where you're actually asking legislation to keep up with technology, and that almost never happens. That almost never happens. So it is going to be one of these things where, unfortunately, we will always be somewhat behind the creative technologies. But as long as we are progressive in terms of, addressing as best as we possibly can some loopholes, some issues, I think that we'll eventually get it right and be in a better position to protect Bahamian creatives.
But sadly, there are few, if any, safeguards against this evolving technology.
Technology waits for no one. And so there's always going to be a new creative device, a new creative aspect that needs to be properly protected.
Still, Ouden says these protections are invaluable.
The one thing that you don't want is to go through that whole process, that whole creative process, that whole economic expenditure to create a body of work that cannot be adequately protected, or that obviously is subject to anyone coming and riding along your coattails.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corval Pyfrom.
Thanks a lot, Corval. Well, the ongoing feud between the Bahamas Taxicab Union and the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort over operations at the Prince George Dock have reportedly intensified. Union President Wesley Ferguson claims that the Atlantis Resort has once again launched what he calls a personal attack against taxi drivers and continue to interfere with their operations.
Atlantis, in my opinion, is one of the biggest bullies in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. but the taxi union will not sit by and allow Atlantis to take advantage of taxi drivers. This is a very disrespectful move because Atlantis just unilaterally, without any dialogue with the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union, made a decision to ban taxi drivers from dropping off at the Coral Towers. Now, for more than 20 years, taxi drivers enjoyed that luxury of doing tours that included Atlantis and drop off passengers that contributed to the success of Atlantis. They spent heavily in the casinos and in the restaurants and in other areas that they're permitted to go to. But Atlantis took a decision with no consultation, no warning to taxi drivers, and disrespected them.
Ferguson threatening to fire back if Atlantis does not cease and desist from this type of activity.
So I suggested them that they rethink this position and let us sit down and get together and see if we could sit down as sensible human beings with respect for each other and mitigate the situation.
Ferguson says he has asked the head of the Ministry of Transport and the Tourism Minister to intervene before there is a disruption of services by the taxi cab union. Meantime, ZNS News reached out to Atlantis executives who declined to comment on this matter at this time. He was a standout among his peers, and for that, one school resource officer received special recognition. Here's Cleopatra Murphy.
I didn't see it coming, so it caught me by surprise, but it's an honor, and it speaks about hard work and dedication and service above self.
He may not have expected it, but others were watching and taking note. During a school safety meeting at police headquarters Wednesday, Minister of Education, Technical and Vocational Training, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, presented Corporal 3941 Chad Brown with the 2023 School Resource Officer of the Year Award. Officer in charge of the school policing program, Assistant Commissioner of Police Chaswell Hanna, says the award was created to encourage school-based officers to press on with the important work they do. He says Brown has a great relationship with the principal and staff, and the students love him.
CH3's won a sporting competition last year, and they were very appreciative of him, encouraging and cheering them on. He's their biggest cheerleader. Police officers are in these schools not just to deal with safety issues, but also diversion programs to assist these students in becoming productive citizens. He also has a good working relationship with the parents of these kids. If something is going off with these kids in the home, they reach out to him for assistance.
Brown says he is grateful for the recognition and is thankful to the Royal Bahamas Police Force and the family he has formed during his 3 years at the CH3's junior high school. He says despite the school being in the inner city, a priority for him is instilling in students that there are no limits to what they can achieve.
It all starts with the small things, getting to school on time, make sure you report on time, paying attention to your schoolwork, dress appropriately, manners and respect, and being that big brother figure or that father figure and giving them positive advice as it relates to all aspects of life, because sometimes you have different children going through different circumstances, but once children genuinely know that you care about their welfare, they tend to reach out and they gravitate to you. So this award is basically for them.
Principal Sterling McPhee says Brown is more than deserving.
Corporal Brown actually knows about 80% of our students by their name, and it makes a difference whenever he can address a student. And not only that, for some reasons, he knows their parents as well. And so we feel that that relationship has really impacted the school in a positive way.
Taking his role as mentor to the 875 students at CH3 seriously, Brown offered this to them and his fellow officers.
Continue to work hard, especially as young people. All isn't lost. And to all the SROs around the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, we are putting our best foot forward, and we're going to continue to put our best foot forward because this is one Bahamas, and we have to do this together.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Late last year, the government rolled out a pilot national school breakfast program on several family islands and the E.P. Roberts and Columbus primary schools here in the capital. The Prime Minister touts the program as important nationally, and Minister of Education, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, explains the rationale for starting the initiative.
The research showed globally that this issue of breakfast in schools affects attendance, it also affects learning outcomes, and children tend to do better. So we are now introducing it in a pilot project, and I went with the Prime Minister, Columbus Primary. One of the nicest things I saw, which was cute, was children sitting at a table having breakfast and conversing, as you know, like how you'd see with adults having a meal and all that, and just really communicating. And I thought that was an aspect of it that we had not factored in. But I think it helps to build respect and camaraderie. But more importantly, it deals with issues of nutrition and helping a child to settle down.
The Minister of Education wants the program in more schools, but admits, though, there are some challenges.
It's a costly enterprise, but I'm hoping we can spread it out. I'd like to see it in high school. High school students coming, government high, CC reading, etc., and having breakfast and then settling in and going to classes. So, God willing, we're going to be able to achieve that, but it does have financial implications.
For decades, famed photojournalist Abaco has focused his lenses and captured some of the country's most iconic moments. As we begin observances towards Majority Rule Day, which is January 10th, we reflect on Bo's contributions. Here's Corval Pyfrom.
Abaco recalls being a young man in 1967. That January 10th, which would eventually become Majority Rule Day, he says, though many didn't quite understand what was happening or perhaps even fully appreciated it, the country was on the brink of historic and unprecedented change. The people were ready.
Remember now, at that time, the governing party, they were gerrymandering the process to ensure that they remain in power. So there were some people who said, that ain't happening. And if we must die to stop you, we will.
The telling of the events marking Majority Rule through the eyes of Abaco is just one man's story. But Bo's capturing of what the moment signifies in the life of the country and to many a Bahamian is a story worth hearing.
Bahamians achieved without the blood. That's an accomplishment. And they should be proud of that. They should not be envious of others who had to literally shed their blood.
57 years later, and the conversation goes, do we still carry that in us that drove us in 1967? You see, back in 67, Bo stormed out of his school to join a then revolution in what would today seem like a rebellious fashion, saying at the time, if I can't be free, I don't want an education. Today's Bahamian?
Bahamians should not feel any way other than proud. They have achieved so much in a short time. When the PLP became government, 67, 68, we weren't ready as such to take over economically and so forth. We had political power, but the other people had economic power. And Penling had to say to us, I need people who can go abroad and be schooled and trained.
Bo attributes his passion for country and for wanting to be a part of this revolution directly to his family's lineage. He comes from a proud Kid Island bloodline, and this is who they are, he says. Largely, Bo believes this is who Bahamians are.
We are a special people. And that statement, we must not be sad. There are no others like us.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corval Pyfrom.
We still have more news to come, but Marcellus Hall has a look at what's coming up in sports. Marcellus?
Coming up in sports for this evening, World Relay's hype is building up. We'll tell you how one executive thinks great things are ahead. That's all coming up in sports.
Good to grow, keeping you in the know, keeping you in the know. Cause if it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. If it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
As we embark on a new year, the pursuit of personal goals such as weight loss or financial freedom often takes center stage in our thoughts. In this episode, we present an idea that could potentially aid in achieving one of these aspirations, starting a cooperative. Meet Egbert Mullings. He's the acting director of the Department of Cooperative Development at the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources.
A cooperative is a group of 10 persons that come together who share the same common values and goals in order to financially empower themselves.
So how can Bahamians benefit?
There's a low startup cost in starting a cooperative. The members of the cooperative, they can become financially empowered through profit sharing and distribution. All members of the cooperative have equal voting rights, which means that don't care how much money you have as a member, you only have one vote. So more or less, there is no bullying in the cooperative. Another benefit is that all cooperative members share the same common goals and same core values, and they share the same vision. So when you are in a cooperative, all of the members are focused on doing the same thing, and they're strategically going in one direction.
So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, here's how you get started.
In order to start a cooperative, you need 10 members. And these 10 members form the basis of what we call a steering committee. And if there are 10 members, 3 of them form the introduction to become supervisory committee members, and the other 7 become the board directors. Once the board directors is set in the steering committee, those 7 members, they actually go and develop a business plan for the cooperative, and then they also develop the bylaws, which is the rules and regulations that govern how cooperatives are function. Once that is completed, then they would complete an application form along with $25 application fee, and they would submit it to the office of the director. Once the director takes a look at the application and everything is in order, within 3 business days, a certificate of registration is issued, and the persons within those 10 persons now form an actual cooperative.
Mullings adds that the cooperative does not have to be limited to the agricultural industry.
As long as the idea is a legal idea, any type of business you can dream about, you can form and start a cooperative.
Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
In the yellow elder garden, Allie and her cousins listened to Grammy share tales. The 70s so sweet, with themed costumes and dancing feet. Then came the brass, reaching new heights. A symphony of Bahamian nights. The 2000s, the yellow elder, a symbol of pride. Grammy's legacy in view as Allie dances in her yellow elder costume. We are alive.
For the next 50 days, 50 lucky winners will be getting $30,000 in cash and prizes.
$30,000?
30. How you win? All you have to do is purchase $25 or more in fuel or a $25 and up Rubis gift card, and you enter to win. Take a photo of your receipt, and you can upload it via our QR code, Rubis Bahamas Facebook page, or our website. Don't forget, you need your receipt in order to win.
Thank you. $500 on the Visa card, I'll buy everything, but I gotta turn my light on. I need gas in my car, and I done miss and put diesel in here, and the car say, "Bop."
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
The Christmas holiday may be over, but it's not stopping patrons from enjoying some fun-filled activities at the carnival. Tonight, Lloyd Allen is live from the carnival's Fort Charlotte site. Good evening, Lloyd.
Well, good evening, LaDawn, and good evening, Bahamas. Tonight we're here at the Holiday Carnival. I'm speaking with Dan McCafferty. He is the proprietor of McCafferty Enterprises that operates the Holiday Carnival. Dan, of course, the season is almost over, but talk to us about popularity and how this carnival continues to grow.
Every year it's gotten better since we moved up here where we're at. When we were down at the Sports Center, when they made it a dead-end road, everything went downhill. So moving out here has been the best we could have ever done. The more family orientated here. We get nothing but families. We don't really have any problems, and it's a much better location.
Well, of course, that's some good news. We also put that to test. We spoke with a few patrons just yesterday about their experience right here at the Holiday Carnival.
Sometimes we need to have a little fun date night. You know, you don't need the dinners and, you know, serious things, you know. So this is fun. Be able to see each other laugh, see each other scared, have some nice food, and just be able to smile and laugh.
I choose to come through a weekday. I don't like the crowd on the weekends. So I prefer to come on a slow day where I can enjoy more of the ride with the younger kids.
We have fun, like a lot of games to play, and we get to go on funny rides and fun rides. I love good games and rides. I like the carnival because I like the teacup ride.
I came to bring my little boy. You know, it's nice outing, you know, nice family outing. He's having a lot of fun. You see a lot of the crowd is coming now. Look like everybody seems to want their children out tonight.
My nieces will be up for all day. I decided to bring her out tonight for a treat.
We just had some free time and wanted to enjoy ourselves. I haven't been to the carnival in many years. She hasn't been in many years, so we just wanted to come and enjoy ourselves.
We're leaving soon to go back to college, so we wanted to be able to have one night out.
For a number of years, Fort Charlotte has been home to the Holiday Carnival, and we asked some whether they preferred the former location near the Sports Center or the new destination opposite Fish Fry and downtown.
I reach here because I read in the area, and it's more convenient.
Most likely the one by the Sports Center, just because of a longer drive, especially when you're coming back from Carnival. You have to talk to your friends longer about the rides you've been on than right here and then home. But I like the area here. I think it's more secure. I think better lighting. I think it has a beautiful view to see.
I'm old-fashioned. I prefer the Sports Center.
Being at the Sports Center, like I say, it might have been just tradition where we grew up. Just walking across through big ponds of the carnival, you know, so you look forward to that. But now you come out here, but like I say, you look at the atmosphere, it's nice, man.
I think this one, because of the views and there's more space. You don't have to feel jam up, you know. So, and I like that you could just walk across the street to Abaco if you need something to eat.
Now, of course, again, we're here with Dan McCafferty. And McCafferty, again, you talked about family, this being a family environment. But as you prepare to leave now, what would you want locals to remember most about the carnival?
Well, the safeness, where they didn't have any problem when they came out here and they enjoyed themselves. And remember, we leave on the 14th this year. We're leaving earlier than we ever did before. So if they want to come out, they need to come out this week.
All right, so you have about a week to go. Reporting here from Fort Charlotte for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen. LaDon, back to you in studio.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd. Well, owner of Pat's Senior Citizens Home and Daycare Center, Patricia Moxie, marking her birthday with a special service of Thanksgiving on Sunday, December 31st, at her church home, the New Mount Zion Baptist Church. Moxie's family, friends, and church members joined in the celebration. During the service, Moxie, who was also the personal assistant to the Governor General, offered these words of advice to women in the community.
It really grieves me sometimes when I see how people go into the house of God. It really dampens my spirit. And I think that we ought to pay more attention to the way people go into the house of God. We ought to dress properly at all times. If we are going out to a party or someplace, we got to run by with new shoes, with new dress and everything else. And when I realized they come into the church with cut-off pants and tight skirt and all their private parts, I should say, almost showing, it's a disgrace, and I think we ought to do something about it.
Moxie also encouraged more people to attend church this year.
Everybody doesn't have to wear a hat, bag, and gloves, but just come properly dressed for church. I think God would get the glory because He is holy. He is worthy for all the praise. And we try to impress man, but let us impress. We don't even have to impress God because He knows our heart. But as elderly women, church women especially, let us come and dress properly for the church. Even if it's our children in the house, make sure before they leave they're properly dressed for church.
In case you missed the news or want to stay ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook.
Cruise Port
presents Phil Stubbs Live at the all-new Nassau Cruise Port Amphitheater, January 13th. Gates open at 7 p.m., showtime 9 p.m.
Book your tickets now at BahamasEtickets.com.
General admission $50, 75 VIP. Prepare to be blown away as we kick things off with one of the Bahamas' beloved artists. You're raking and scraping with Ira Storm, Nishi LS, and Phil Stubbs Live.
Brought to you by the Nassau Cruise Board.
Here at Solomon's, we don't just believe in great brands. We believe in creating unforgettable memories and celebrating everyday living with you and your family. Every aisle is filled with all you need. A great value with a variety and a selection of all your favorite groceries and products. Saving you time and keeping you on a budget. Great food changes everything. Shop at your local Solomon's for food, for family, for you.
A decade ago, the Bahamas Striping Group of companies was birthed out of a passion to change the way we travel. From only a $5,000 grant, the tenacity and work ethic has propelled BSGC to one of the leading road management companies in the Caribbean. We pride ourselves on going the extra mile where others won't, through the use of our state-of-the-art equipment and our certified team. Although the success is commendable, the road has been long. Yet, the mission continues in striving to be a world-class organization ran by Bahamians for Bahamians. With the help of our experienced and hardworking team, we at the Bahamas Striping Group of companies are committed to making a difference, one road at a time.
Over in Abaco investigating an armed robbery that took place overnight at a home in Marsh Harbor. Reports are that sometime around 8:15 last evening, two male family members were outside their home when they were confronted by two men armed with handguns. The culprits reportedly forced the victims into their home where they restrained them along with two other family members and stole an undisclosed amount of money and personal items before making good on their escape. Now, if you have any information to help police solve this robbery, call them at 911-919 or Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. Western Air's new CEO, accountable manager, Shirexia Rexy Roll, becomes the first of a few women in aviation to hold such a prominent leadership position, joining 8% of women in the aviation industry. Here's Asha Quant.
For me, the work continues, but just in a different capacity.
Over 15 years of extensive experience in the airline sector, Shirexia Rexy Roll is now named president, CEO, and accountable manager of Western Air, effective January 1st, 2024, now joining the select 8% of women leading airlines as CEOs. Roll expressing her readiness to assume the role she has been preparing for and acknowledges Western Air's progress while emphasizing its untapped potential.
At Western Air, we really are committed to the service that we provide to our passengers. And so for me, this is going to be just about focusing and fine-tuning the services that we provide and really pushing to enhance the Western Air experience.
Established in September 2000 by her parents, Western Air stands as the Bahamas' largest privately owned airline. Roll previously served as the Vice President of Operations and General Counsel for over 9 years. Her tenure saw remarkable transformations within the company, to which she says will continue offering flexible services.
For most people, life can be very unpredictable, and so that's why we have the most flexible ticket policies in the region. On Western Air, there's never any cancellation fees or change fees, because we want passengers to have the flexibility and the frequency to travel. So we're going to build on that by creating even more flexible options down the road.
She reassures that despite her new responsibilities, her vibrant personality would remain unchanged.
I think it's just a testament of the times. in the fact that you can be multiple things. And so for me, music and dance and fashion is a part of my personality, and I don't expect that to change. I don't like the stuffy or the bougie. You could still come up to me and talk, and we'll talk for a long time, and that's how I intend to stay, and I don't expect anything to change personality-wise.
The new CEO also conveying a heartfelt message to the Western Air team and passengers.
My Western Air team, I would be nothing without them. That's just that. They are committed and dedicated, and we have a team of 234 employees, and every single one of them makes this show go around. And so I never take them for granted, and I recognize how important they are. And to our passengers, I am eternally grateful to be able to serve them. And it's just my, why do I feel teary? It's just my passion to do what we do.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Aja Quant.
As the Junkanoo season comes to an end, the Youth, Sports and Culture Minister is sharing his plans to take the country's #1 cultural expression to a whole new level. Here's Shane Stubbs.
The 2024 Senior Junkanoo Parades are officially in the history books. The Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Bolek, said after viewing both parades, he sees a number of ways for the beloved cultural expression to be preserved and elevated in the country. One way is by introducing a Junkanoo segment during the Bahamas Games, which was recently reintroduced. The minister adding that it was an idea that was flirted with ahead of the 2023 edition of those games. It's something that is still up for discussion for 2026.
We can continue working on and get the funding to pull that off, where Grand Bahama can be represented by Grand Bahama Junkanoo groups all in one. One group can represent New Providence, one can represent Exuma, Cat Island, and the rest alike. I know what it takes and what the performance levels they are. And so I could tell you, Friday, next Saturday coming, will be Exuma, the next one, and that is off the chain.
It's a costly adventure for groups aiming to bring the best performance to any boulevard. Bolek stresses the importance of preserving these timeless pieces versus being discarded once the parade is completed.
We believe that the Junkanoos can profit and benefit financially from these costumes because they can place it, like you say, in Iran or different corporate areas where it can be displayed, and they can go in and tune it up and make sure it stay looking sharp, and even give them a few dollars just to have it there, right? And to be there.
And what better way to display history than with the Junkanoo Museum?
The Junkanoo Museum is something that must come not only on New Providence, but definitely on Grand Bahama.
Yes, sir.
And so that we can have these pieces of the various groups displayed all year round. We want tourists to be able to come in and pay to see these huge pieces and beautiful pieces, but also make sure that the museum itself doesn't benefit, but those who build them also get some profit out of it.
Impressed by what he saw during the 2024 parade here in Freeport, he hopes one day to give local groups some shine on Bay Street, which would breathe some new life to the product and give groups a different experience.
These groups continue to improve themselves, and I'm looking forward today that we can have one or two of them come down on Boxing Day and perform, and then come back to Grand Bahama and perform on New Year's. By doing so, we want the New Providence, the Grand Bahamians to also go to the Family Islands and make sure that they help their little brothers and sisters islands, because we want to be able to see the same level of Junkanoo throughout the land and breadth of commerce wherever we go.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
And it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, LaDawn. We have mostly clear skies this evening. Temperature at 72 degrees. Your relative humidity, 79%. West-northwest winds at 5 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,000 at 17.0 millibars. That is 30.03 inches. And your temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 68 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Grand Key and Abaco. Marshall, Abaco, 71 degrees. DeBerry Island, 74. Allenstown, Bimini, 76. Harbor Island reporting 74. We got 71 degrees in Roxanne, Eleuthera, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. 71s again in Kemp's Basin Andros and Black Point, Exuma. Alderstown, Cat Island, 74. San Salvador and Rumkey also at 74 degrees. Georgetown, Exuma, 72. Then we get back into the 74s in Ragged Island, Clownstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Miguana, 76. Ackland, 76. Matthewtown, United with a warm spot tonight at 79 degrees. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 76 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the northwestern islands, those winds are going to be northwest to north. Speed still at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights holding at 2 to 4 feet. Now, your low tide, that will take place at 7:48 this evening in the central and southeastern parts of the country. The winds will be light and variable with flat seas. And then tomorrow, which is Friday, we're going to have a northeast to east component. Those winds will be increasing 12 to 18 knots. The wave heights building 3 to 6 feet. So we'll post caution flags for the northwest Bahamas tomorrow. Now, the low tide tomorrow will occur at 8:35 in the morning with a high tide at 2:20 in the afternoon. And in the central and southeastern islands on Friday, southwest winds ahead of that front, speeds at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. And as we take you into Saturday in the northwestern islands, the winds become southeast, increasing even further, 15 to 25 knots, very rough sea conditions at 5 to 8 feet over the ocean. So we will bump that caution up to an advisory on Saturday for the northwest Bahamas. The low tide will occur at 9:35 in the morning with the high tide at 3:15 in the afternoon. Now, in the central and southeastern islands on Saturday, increasing those winds as well. 15 to 20 knots out of the southeast. Caution flags go up for the central and southeastern islands. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Stop the world.
Want to have your voice heard? Send your letters to the editor to digitalmedia@znsbahamas.com. Share your thoughts on current events or positive stories within your community. That's digitalmedia@znsbahamas.com. We want to hear from you.
Here's to more laughs, good times, and the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Best Value Cornflakes 18-ounce, $2.49. Distinction Evaporated Milk 14-ounce, $1.19. Olivia Cooking Oil 48-ounce, $5.89. Chicken leg quarters 10-pound bag, 99 cents per pound. Russet potatoes 5 pounds, $3.99. Jenny-O turkey starting at $27 and large smoked halves starting at $23 at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
The most important thing in life is family, and whenever you need reliable advice, you look to the people you know you can trust. At J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, we earn our clients' trust every day. Whether it's home, motor, travel, or commercial insurance, we've got you covered. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
Hello? Y'all jump in your car and go get your Cuba Libre, because they making sure the family islanders straight. If you're in Nassau, Freeport, Exuma, Abaco, Bimini, Long Island, Inagua, Harbor Island, Eleuthera, Cat Island, San Salvador, or South Andres, then this is for you. From now to December 15th, visit any participating liquor store in Nassau and on the Family Islands. Purchase at least $10 worth of Cuba Libre, attach your receipt to your entry card, and drop it in the on-site entry box. Cuba Libre's Jingle All the Way is finally back. With over $75,000 in cash and prizes, you could win a brand new car, cold hard cash, TVs, hotel stays, pallets of Cuba Libre, and so much more. Even if you miss our in-store promotion, you can still be a winner. Saturday, January 6th, meet us at Kamalami Place for your chance to be one of our lucky wild card winners. It's a party. Everyone's free from 6 to 8. Don't miss out with Cuba Libre's Jingle All the Way. Always remember, drink responsibly. Welcome to Cuba. We're delighted to have you here.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your ZNS Total Sports Check, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. We saw a number of setbacks and challenges this past year in Bahamian track and field. But a new year has rolled in. We've dusted ourselves off, and it seems we are now poised for a thrilling year ahead. It's just 4 months, the Bahamas playing host to over 1,600 elite athletes from all across the globe as the World Athletics Relays take place right here on our shores. Now, these relays, of course, are a crucial qualifier for the Summer Olympics in Paris. B3A's President Jamaica Archer feels optimistic about our athletes in 2024.
I think that we've gone through some showings of growth. New roots have been begun to sprout, and we've seen some remarkable talent at the junior level. And of course, we've had a lull because some of our elite athletes suffered from injury, and of course, Shanae Miller-Rebo had just had a baby. But I think that this is going to be an exciting year, so the best is yet to come in 2024 is going to be an exciting time for track and field once again.
Now, still with track and field, the first meet of the 2024 season will take place beginning on Friday as the T-Bird Flyers annual Track and Field Classic gets underway at the old Thomas A. Robinson Stadium. The two-day meet will wrap up on Saturday and will feature athletes from various track clubs here in the country. And from the NBA, Grand Bahama native Buddy Hield and the Indiana Pacers hosting the Milwaukee Bucks yesterday evening. Pacers coming to life in the third quarter. They scored 47 points in that time frame to take a 113-97 lead heading into the fourth. Bucks never getting closer than 10 points the rest of the way. Indiana gets the win 142-130. They make it 5 wins in a row now. Buddy playing limited minutes would finish with 10 points on 3 of 8 shooting. Pacers with the night off this evening. They try to make it 6 in a row on Friday when they host the Atlanta Hawks. And that's a check on sports for you here tonight. A look at the weather is just ahead. Stay with us.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Celebrate Independence the BK way with our new Independence King Combo. Enjoy a flame-grilled beef patty topped with savory bacon, arugula, crisp onion rings, and our special tropical sauce on a brioche bun. Served with fries and a drink for a flavor sensation fit to celebrate every year. Top off the Independence celebrations with our new guava sundae or frozen guava lemonade. Our Independence King Combo and treats are available for a limited time at Burger King Nassau, where taste is king.
Have you ever purchased a defective item and was denied an exchange or cash refund? Contact the Consumer Protection Commission at 393-7795-8 or our 24-hour complaints hotline at 357-7898 and let us help your voice be heard.
Hey, get up, stand up. Stand up for your right.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we have near clear skies, but that will all change later on tonight as we do have this weak front system just around the Grand Bahama area that is pushing towards the southeast, so we'll see an increase in cloudiness late tonight and during the early morning hours and possibly 1 or 2 passing showers as well. Tonight, we are looking at mostly cloudy with a couple of showers, mainly late tonight as that front boundary gets a little closer. Low temperature getting down to 62 degrees, and tomorrow it's going to be cloudy at first. Giving way to some sunshine in the afternoon, but there'll be some occasional light rains during the early part of the day, returning to that breezy conditions as well. High temperature tomorrow, 76 degrees, and your extended weather forecast, cloudy during the first half of the day, skies opening up in the afternoon as we go into Saturday, looking pretty good, but come Sunday, we have a second front that will go through on Sunday night. That too will bring with it some showers and a slight cool down, not much of a change, but those nighttime temperatures will remain pretty comfortable, and then we'll see another frontal system move into the area on Wednesday. So we have a series of frontal systems that will be pushing through the archipelago over the next several days, keeping the temperatures nice and comfortable for you. Ladon.
Some pretty good weather there, Basil. Thanks a lot. Well, a new business set to further enhance the dining experience of visitors. In this report, Lloyd Allen shares the idea behind 3-course murder.
It seems the new year is introducing a new way of entertainment right here in the Bahamas.
It's a 3-course dinner infusion along with a murder mystery show.
3-course murder in an all-Bahamian production designed to drown visitors in a unique environment of immersive theater as they dine and become a part of the story. Producer Raquel Rose says following her experience last year with the Royal Caribbean-sponsored business startup boot camp coordinated by the Small Business Development Center, they surfaced as the third-place winners of a startup grant that's now used to fund this venture.
Guests will walk away with this experience, with this new and immersive feeling to say that they've been to the Bahamas and they've experienced this murder mystery.
Rose says her cast is proudly all Bahamian and prepared to further expand the country's orange economy.
A lot of the cast that are part of the show, they've been with me from the inception of Real Laughs Network, so they're not new to any of our shows. They're a dynamic crew. They're a mix between persons who've been in the industry long, persons that are kind of still new and getting their feet wet, but I love them dearly. It's about 9 of them.
SBDC Representative Precious Thompson shares the potential behind this launch.
I've been working as a business mentor for the Royal Caribbean Kickstarter program for a few of their cohorts. And when she was assigned to me, I loved the vision, I loved the concept, but now we need to see it through. And over the course of months, from before last year's summer, I was very tough on her, and I said, you know what, this is what we need to do.
With much activity already budding from this latest venture, tourism officials are hopeful that this will spur even more activity in the orange economy. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd. Well, that does it for the Bahamas Tonight, the national report. For all of us here at ZNS, I'm LaDawn Davis. Make it a great evening, everyone.
Happy holidays from the management and staff at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
As part of the general